I had the ultimate blueprint by watching my family. I was the youngest kid. So the youngest kid has the total advantage. You know, you may get picked on, you may get bullied with everybody, but you sit back and exactly what you said. I sat back and watched my dad. Definitely don't want to do that. My mom, my brother, whoever it may be. I sat back and I paid attention to everything around me. And it was the ultimate blueprint to how to live life. How not to live life. As I watched people do it, I said, I know where you are. I know where, because I've been there. That's why I help so many people out. I've never been above you. I've always pretty much been beneath you, and that's where my knowledge came from. So I know how to reach those people who are in the dungeon, because I've been there so many times. I call it part-time savage. I started kind of going through this. I started getting, a little bit of injuries, a little bit of this, but things that back in the day never slowed me down. When I got my head out of my ass and realized that, hey, we have more left. We can still push harder. We're not there yet. I realized, talking to a guy named Cameron Haynes, who just raced a 240-mile race. And is this the new level? Is this the new push? So when I decided to do that race, it was in the back of my mind like, man, I've really become an expert at running 100-mile races. So for me, this was the new level, the 200-mile race. And what was so amazing about that, as you probably read the book, I had a hard time the first time doing it. I came back to do better, but what's amazing about the human mind is that it becomes your new norm. Like, to think that I can run 200 miles, 240 miles, and that becomes like running 50. I never thought that was possible. This is why I'm always pushing that limit, because I know that within pushing these limits, there's always more. So I end up doing like almost like back-to-back 200-mile runs. When the 200-mile race, 240-mile race was hard at once, it became something that was very easy after I figured it out. All those miles I've run on this thing, it's been a lot of gut checks, because when you get to 70 miles in a race and you felt the way I did, to me it was humanly impossible to even think about going 30 more miles in that shape. Once you do it, what came over me when that shower hit me, and the reality hit that I just went 100 miles. And that last 31 miles was something that I can't even describe to people. And she's like, look, it's a hospital. So at the time, my mom was seeing this doctor, and he was like, so she's describing my mom going. He was like, you gotta get in the hospital now. And I just said, just shut up and let me enjoy this pain. I don't want anything to numb it. I don't want anything like that. Because what I had done was I just, in my mind, and people will take this wrong and take it as wrong as you want, I don't really care. I had just climbed a mental wall that was amazing. And I didn't want anybody to take that pain away from me, because that was all confirmation. I never wanted to feel it again. I never wanted to feel it again. But what it did was it showed me what is possible. And that's what set the new stage for me. That's when I realized, oh man, I've really been underachieving my entire life. I'm not saying that you have to go to that place. That place is a dangerous place that you don't want to go there. But it taught me what is possible. So from that 19-hour lesson, one of the biggest lessons I had in my life, it taught me like, okay, I got it, check. As you get bigger, as you get more successful, you open the door for people to critique everything. And most of the people who are critiquing you usually aren't where you are. And all the critiquing comes from people who are really at a low level in life, which is sad. But what we do, people who are on the upper level, hearing the haters at the lower level, like I said, you'll never meet a hater doing better than you. True statement. I started having fun with it. So I'll go through the comments while most people don't go through comments. I go through them intentionally, look for the bad ones. And while I'll block and delete you because the people on my page don't need that negative energy, I'll block and delete you, but I take a snapshot on my phone and I put it in the archive. So what happens is, there's days when I'm like, you know what? I really don't want to do this today. I'm like, oh, hang on. So I started making these mixtapes with all of these hate messages about people talking shit. And it became such a source of fuel. And it was amazing because I know why you hate me. You hate me because you're probably in the bed right now. You're probably an underachiever. You're probably somebody who doesn't want to do anything with your life. So I make you question everything about yourself. So I'm going to continue making you question yourself by coming out here and being even more successful. So I listen to that while I run. I sometimes play in the house, and it sometimes gets on Jennifer's nerves. I'm sitting and listening to somebody talk mad on a loop about me, and she's like, "How do you do this?" It's half comical, and it's half inspiring. I'm actually inspired by it. People don't understand. This wasn't like a part-time job. Man, when you've done without, like Kobe Bryant. When Kobe retired that last game, he had like 60 points, walked off the court. He didn't cry. He said, "Oh God, I missed the sport." He walked off. He gave everything he could. Man, when you give what I've given everything. People make, oh, you ran off the knees, you taped your feet up, you did blah, blah. You had 2 heart surgeries, you kept on going. Which makes me who I am. David Goggins is an introverted, soft kid that got beat up growing up and had to lie to create friends, to get friends, to be accepted. My life has really been about 2 people. I had to invent a whole other human being to get outside of my comfort zone. And that human being became Goggins. It took a while to get to that point where enough was enough. And I had to make a change in my life. I was at an all-time low, and I wasn't going anywhere, and I was exactly what everybody said I was going to do, which was nothing. I had to make a change. Goggins is like the guy that walks out of that phone booth. He's like that Superman that walks out of the phone booth. It's kind of strange how sometimes I have a conversation between David Goggins and Goggins. And Goggins will tell David Goggins about the shit he's done. And David Goggins said, "What the hell, man? Why are you doing it? That's nuts." It's kind of this battle between trying to find more of yourself, knowing that the real you is afraid, likes comfort, likes living in a world that likes to pat you on the back, give you the things that you want to hear, not the things that you have to hear to be better. That's where all this kind of started from. When people hear this podcast, they're going to definitely want to put a title on it and make themselves feel better. Basically what you're doing is you're giving yourself a get out of jail free card. So all you're doing is saying, this guy was some super freak. He found some super thing in his brain that was locked up. He unleashed it and became this guy. Because every day I wake up, I dread the day. I dread the day of what I'm going to bring on myself to get better. It happened when I could never get over the hump. I kept on feeling like I was getting over the hump. And then one little windstorm, small little windstorm would come by and push me back this track. I'm like, why? Why am I not? I'm learning how to read now. I was a junior in high school, couldn't read that much. Fourth grade reading level. Because I would cheat on everything. I learned how to read, I learned how to write. I taught myself all these things, all these disciplines. But whenever the first real big challenge comes, that little windstorm pushes me back in the hole. And I realized, man, I'm fixing stuff on the surface level. I'm all surface, man. I'm not going deep in the cellar of my mind and fixing the foundation of my soul. My soul is broken. But, I knew I could fix it, but I was afraid to go back. I was afraid to face the demons of my life. You start lying. You ain't got no about it. So you start lying about who you're not. You start creating the person about who you want to be, but not who you are. So that's when I realized, man, I'm never going to get over the hurdle. I'm always going on the surface level until I get deep into the sewer of my mind and figure out the face of all of these different demons. That's hard. It's hard. We're all like social media. We're all like everybody to see us for who we want to be. That's why we post beautiful things eventually you act on it. And my self-talk was the most disgusting self-talk of all time. So the sewer of my mind, like I said, you have to go back in there and fix things. A lot of us are afraid, like right now, 20 years ago, you wouldn't find me on the show. I was too embarrassed to tell you I stuttered, I lied, all these different things, getting beat up, getting bullied, whatever happened. But that's where the true transformation starts to happen. You can look at people, anybody, thousands of people, one person and say, hey, this is who I am. And this is where I have to fix myself. And this is where it really happened. You know, people call me dumb. My dad called me so many things, not even funny. Being beat just stripped me of all self-esteem. This is when I realized I was alone on this earth. I have God, but on this earth I have to fix everything. So this is when I started to develop an indestructible mental toolbox. I looked in this one guy's eyes who was ringing the bell to quit to put his helmet down out of Navy SEAL training, and I saw myself. And I saw what everybody said I was going to do. What I said I was going to do, that conversation we had, that's who I was. So that's why I lied to people to tell them a different version of truth. I had to make all those lies reality. I had to make them real. I had to become a real person. So that's when I put in my mind that I'm going to go to the toughest military training on earth, where it has the most water, the thing I was scared of the most. So a lot of us run away from our fears. And we box ourselves in to a lifestyle of this is all we can do. Because I'm afraid of everything outside this box. So I'm comfortable inside this box. I jumped the box. Everything I didn't want to do is what got me to where I'm at today. It's about what you're saying to yourself, but it also comes with work. So whenever I was getting beat down, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever I was going through, just saying, you can't hurt me. I had this haunting voice in the back of my head. A lot of us have it. We just ignore it. And it was there for years. So I knew in the back of my mind that I could pull off this whatever. Whatever I wanted, I knew I could. I knew that, but I was afraid of the work because I wasn't gifted with brains. I wasn't gifted with God-given talent as far as like athleticism. So I knew to get to where I had to go, to be in the same playing field as these men, to even try out in this program, I knew the work was going to be something that I didn't want to even attack. So I just put it off. It haunted me. That's what I realized for myself is I wanted that comfort zone. Everybody looks for it, that pat on the back. They don't want to hear all the bad. They want to hear everything that they're doing right. And I realized that's what kept me in this world. That's what kept me in this world of not accomplishing anything. What I did was I became that big, bad nasty that you don't want to walk into at nighttime. I became the roughest critic in the world by myself. And that's what changed me. I stopped caring about people, that what they thought, being judged. Wow, if I say this, if I started right now, are you gonna make fun of me? I stopped caring about that. And that's when my life started really changing for me, slowly but surely. Or situations that have wronged me. Because once you come to a place where you are really happy with who you are in life, no one f***s with you anymore. Even though they're f***ing with you, it doesn't f*** with you. What do you want in your life? We have so much influence coming at us that we are so lost. We don't know what we want to do because we don't spend enough time with ourselves. This is whatever the hell you dreamed of in your own mind. You gotta first see it. You gotta first create this vision in your mind. Once you create this vision in your mind, it's kind of like a gift. But you've got to go inside yourself to find it. That means you gotta be quiet. Shut the fuck up, go in a room, stop talking, search your soul, search your mind, search your abilities, and you'll find it. But if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. So you gotta go start your journey. And the journey starts with you finding, why the hell am I here on this planet? Why am I here? And if you don't know that, you will live the rest of your life searching, always asking the question, why? I'm waking up and I'm giving myself all this armor. So when I come out in the world, and I'm looking at that phone, I'm ready. I'm not waking up late, I'm not rushing around, I'm not disorganized. because I know I'm gonna get hit. There's an art to get hit, and that is why these things are important. You have to wake up and you have to give yourself belief. You have to give yourself confidence. So it starts with that run. Anywhere from about an hour 30 to 2 hours, I run. So
you're fasted on the morning. Up, straight out.
Straight out.
90 minutes to 2 hours running back, eat,
and I'm in the gym. So, and then after that, to whatever's on the plan for the day. That's how it works.
That's your day. There is no room for anything else.
Yeah, there is. A lot of it. So there's 24 hours and I use it all pretty well. That's why I got a capsule sense. Because I can't put that in. And that's my growth factor. So, that's my human growth factor. And some of these motivational people out here, they'll go, they say, you wake up in the morning, pound your chest, look at yourself in the mirror, do all this. I hope it works. What works for me is that everyday resume. The things I know I've accomplished, the things I know I've done. Real hard work, the real calluses on my mind, the real calluses on my hands. That's it. You don't need to pound your chest in the mirror. A lot of these limited horizons. Limited horizons are like, I use me as an example always. I came from a small town in Indiana where there was a handful of black families. And a lot of people in that town, you come from a town of 8,000 people, it's like we had a local plant, Great Dane. You're like, you know what? I want to work at Great Dane and get a house next to my mom. That's what you know. So many of us come from these small places in our mind that we're not willing to think outside of only what we see. Our mind works in such a small compartment. And one thing I was able to do was to dream. Many people but don't make dreams your master. I was able to dream outside those four walls of that small town. And until you're able to really put yourself into that dream, don't make dreams your master, that's where you truly become what you're destined to become. A lot of people sit back and dream about being a sports figure, or dream about being a SEAL, or dream about being an astronaut. All it is a dream. You don't put the work behind the dream. That dream has become their master. When you become the master of the dream, is when you say, I want to go be a Navy SEAL. And you say, okay, I'm going to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months. The dream was the one thing I thought about, and the dream was now gone. Now, it comes in, the dream goes away, and the laundry list of details and tasks come up. Gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this, gotta do this. That's when you become the master of your dream. So, a lot of people out there dreaming. Guess what happens? I walk up, goes off at 4 a.m. to train. We count on people too much to get us through shit. And we look to our right, to our left, looking for help. And if you can build that self, you can build that total accountability in oneself. And it's not about being selfish. I'm trying to create a better me. So hopefully people who are hearing this are taking it the right way and can say, I can run a mile. It ain't about running 205 miles. It doesn't matter. I want you to see how far you can go. The biggest trophy I own now is that book. The biggest trophy I own now is not the book itself, it's what's in the book. It's what, like, I don't give a if that sells one copy. Honest to God, man. What I did, and that's what I hope people understand. Your life and the journey you put yourself through, there's nothing more than that. And that's all I want people to do is realize that you have to struggle. You have to struggle. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the peace. The bigger the suffering, the more peace. So a lot of this isn't your fault why you do some things you do, why you feel the way you feel. But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where it started, wherever that place is for everybody, and have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you. And that's when I was like, hey, I'm fucked up, I'm gonna go back and fix it. And I know how to self-motivate. A lot of motherfuckers don't know how to self-motivate, man. Like, we like to put the headphones on, like for the big game and listen to the music. The headphones come off, bro. It's you in your own mind. I know how to do that. that's the hard part,
Do you
man.
ever listen to music when you run?
I wanted you to go home that night after you did and I smiled in your face. I wanted you to feel worse than I did. You would go home to a nice warm bed, and I was still out there in the grit, suffering for the $100. I wanted you to think about it, knowing that I'm comfortable. You're very uncomfortable. And I want you to think about what you went through. I went through this, here, life made me this way here. I stutter, I have these issues with reading and writing, and I'm fat and insecure. We can't live like this. We can't live in fear. We can't live in judgment. We can't be afraid of what people right now are looking at me saying about me. We cannot be afraid of that. My workouts, my diet. You start neglecting all of them. You neglect one of them. You can neglect all of them all the time. It's going to haunt you. When you start seeing that, I have to eat, I have to sleep. It might be one of those things that take you off. I'm very aware of my eating, my sleeping, my disciplines of life. When I start to get too far away from them, it's a hard stop. The only thing gets me bad nowadays is that so many people die with untapped potential because they think there's someone else that's better than them. And they were born not with the greatest tools. You need the ability to grind your ass into fine powder. And when you have fine powder, find a way to build that one back up repeatedly. And it's possible. I was always trying to do it because I knew I sucked. And so when you know you're trying to get somewhere, you know you suck, you know that you believe that you're born loser, you are taking snapshots, man. Like, you see something on your phone, like, oh man, I'm gonna take a snapshot of that. I do that in my mind. So I get in these moments where I'm like, okay, wow, that's good knowledge right there, man. I snapshot it. Because I know that I can use that later. I can use it because I'm not out there most people, they go out and run. They go out and do something. And they're like, oh, this is beautiful, look at mountains. I don't like it. My body hurts. I'm hurting. How do we get through this? It's a lab. It's my mental lab. And so when I come home, I'm not forgetting. And the second, like every day I get done running, every day I get to working, every day I get to studying, whatever it is that brings me to that place of knowledge, I come home and that book was mostly written on a scratch piece of paper. So I come home from running and I write everything down. I write everything down, all those things. And as I'm running, I'm talking about it. So all these things that pop in my head as I continue to run, I'm going through it. I'm starting to layer it down. I'm starting to break it down. Okay, that happened. Now let's layer this. Because that's just not how it happened. This didn't happen. What led up to this? And so it becomes me by myself in school. I'm really going to school right now. I'm learning. So when I come home, I write it out. And then I'm able to write out. I'm able to think about it. Say, okay, well, this will help me later on. And then it becomes. I did a lot outside the military. I've made money. I've done almost every race out there, hard race in the world. I've broken pull-up records. I've done a lot. So when these bad times come, and also not like that, like work your ass off so you can enjoy. Yeah, you're taking a shot. You know, you may not live to be old, but what if you do? And you worked your ass off and you were able to get up early, able to grind. If you front load it properly, the back half of your fucking life is money. And that's what I did. So basically, I don't take any days off as far as working out. The first thing in the morning time is you have to build your confidence. And every day you're constantly gaining and losing confidence. You never stay the same. So how you build your confidence is, if you like what you see in that mirror, that's how you start your day off. If you wake up and you look fat, you look out of shape, you feel good, which is, or you don't feel good inside. So my whole big thing is get up and work out. Shed some calories. Get the adrenals going. Get the mind going. Get all that going. Every day I run. Every day I work out. What they do is they have these finish lines. I have a saying that says, I don't stop when I'm tired, I stop when I'm done. When I was younger, I didn't have any goals. It's not really so much about goals, it's just to do this. To brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. If you can't control your own brain, you got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over. A good human being, a fulfilled human being, doesn't need to break anyone down. All they do is want to build you up. So anybody you meet that calls you out of your name, that bullies you, that messes you up, that makes you feel not lifted, they are dealing with something deep. When you quit, your mind says we're done. So it doesn't expand. There's no expansion when you quit. When you say, this sucks, I'm drowning, I'm miserable, I'm suffering, I'm broken, but I'm not going anywhere. What happens to your mind, it says, he's not leaving. So we gotta expand. We gotta grow. We gotta figure this thing out. So then these compartments in your brain, they have to work. And then you start to engage parts of your mind that you never engaged before. When you're in suffer mode, and you say, I'm not gonna quit. You're forcing your brain now to operate on a level it's not used to. But then it becomes used to. The only way anything gets accomplished, you gotta work hard. I can't remember what's in this paragraph to pass this test to get in the military. Breathe again. Still not getting it. Breathe again. But if you're not getting it, write it out. Guess what happened? Got it. I can't swim. I'm negative buoyant. Go back again. Can't swim. Go back again. Go back again. Go back again. I got it. I realized if I keep going back and going back and going back, your mind will say, okay, we're gonna figure it out. Because he is not going to stop. The mind always has the tactical advantage over you. Why is that? It knows your fears. It knows your insecurities. It knows where they're hiding. We count on people too much to get us through shit. And we go to our right, go to our left, looking for help. And if you can build that self, you can build that total accountability in oneself. And it's not about being selfish. I'm trying to create a better me. So hopefully people who are hearing this are taking it the right way and can say, I can run a mile. It ain't about running 205 miles. It doesn't matter. I want you to see how hard you can go. The biggest trophy I own now is that book. The biggest trophy I own now is not the book itself, it's what's in the book. It's what, like, I don't give a fuck if that sells one copy. Honest to God, man. What I did, and that's what I hope people understand. Your life and the journey you put yourself through, there's nothing more than that. And that's all I want people to do is realize that you have to struggle. You have to struggle. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the peace. The bigger the suffering, the more peace. So a lot of this isn't your fault why you do some things you do, why you feel the way you feel. But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where it started, wherever that place is for everybody. And have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you. And that's when I was like, hey, I'm fucked up, I'll go back and fix this. And I know how to self-motivate. A lot of them know how to self-motivate. Man. Like, we like to put the headphones on, like to put a big game and listen to music. What the fuck you do when the headphones come on, bro? It's you in your own mind. I know how to do that. That's the hard part, man.
Do you ever listen to music when you run?
Never. I wanted you to go home at night after you shit out of me. And I smiled in your face. I wanted you to feel worse than I did. You were going to a nice warm bed. And I was still out there suffering for the $100. I wanted you to think about it. No, I'm comfortable. Very uncomfortable. I want you to think about what you went through. This here, life made me this one here. I stutter. I have these issues with reading and writing, and I'm fat and insecure. We can't live like this. We can't live in fear. We can't live in judgment. We can't be afraid of what people right now are looking at me saying about me. We cannot be afraid of that. My workouts, my diet. You start neglecting all of that. You neglect one of them. You can neglect all of them. Long time. It's going to haunt you. If you start seeing that, I have to eat. I have to sleep on it. There's only one of those things to take you off. I'm very aware of eating, sleeping, disciplines, life. When I start to get too far away from them, it's a hard stop. The only thing that gets me mad nowadays is that so many people die with untapped potential because they think that someone else is doing better than them.
impossible.
The one thing that made me who I am today is being vulnerable. It's breaking myself down to the absolute rock bottom and being able to tell people who I am. And that's how I fixed it. Literally, look somebody in the eye and say, "No, man, I have a whole bunch of character problems, character flaws. I've lied about this. I've cheated here. I'm insecure here. This isn't the real me. I lied to you about that. I wanted your acceptance in life." All those things happen, but the thing about it is that we get judged so quickly about who we are. We don't know. We don't go to where it happened. Life created this person, me. And I had to realize, man, that's okay, man. It's not my fault. Now I can go back and fix it, though. So a lot of this isn't your fault, why you do some things you do, why you feel the way you feel. But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where it started, wherever that place is for everybody. And have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you.
It's not addictive at all because you don't want to live there, but it's definitely a place that makes you look at people very differently. Because once you see, if I was born with a silver spoon and everything was given to me and life came easy, but knowing where I came from and where I'm at now, just because I was able to crack open a few more doors, that was disappointing for me, for other people. So it's not that I want to live there. I know I can go there. And once again, I know other people can go there. So I guess that's the thing with me, is I know I have the ability now to go into a place that's very, very hyper-focused, that I can accomplish some pretty amazing feats. Not because I'm amazing, but because I allow my mind to be open-minded to the possibilities of what can I achieve. Takes the growth in the mental aspect and your spiritual, everything grows because you start feeling better about yourself. Not many things on the planet make you feel good about yourself, like getting after it, doing something that challenges you mentally and physically every day. You cannot live in that normal mindset. You must be your best on your worst day. And how you do that is you cannot be in a normal mindset. You cannot have a normal mindset. My big takeaway of life is if you're constantly taking the easy way out, you're never gonna callous your mind. I was a chameleon living in life who could barely get by. So I knew that they were taking the normal mindset of people. They weren't talking about the 1%ers, the people who want it like there's no tomorrow. You're alone. You're alone. You may have a shrink you're going to, you may have a best friend you're going to, but there's 24 hours in a day when you're alone in this brain. And your brain is talking to you in all kinds of ways. And it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you got to tell your brain where you want to go, how you want to go, and how you want to go. You got to control it. If not, it's over.
Guess what happened? That alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m. to train. I don't want to be a SEAL today. I don't want to be whatever today. I'll start tomorrow. And that's the usual pattern of people's lives. That's why I talk about clearing out the mind. Until you really want to do something, you're always going to be a talker. You're always going to run. So I had a hard time learning growing up. But I was very smart when it came to human beings. A genius. Because I lived in such hell, I was always studying people. Who can I trust? Who can I trust? Energy. I got really good with energy. Is this person's energy good? Is it bad? So I became a genius on human beings. So I studied people all the time. Studied all the time. It was the only way for me to be free. So, like a lot of times, if your back is hurting, it may not be your back. Maybe something else in your body is making you back. For me, I'm like, man, why can't I get past this hurt? So like I said, I'm always examining myself every day. What is it? What is it? Well, one thing you have to examine is going back to the beast, going back to the demon. So when I went back to it, I realized that was the unsolved mystery. Because I had looked that man in the eye one more time. as his dad, would put him in front of the furnace, open the furnace up with the flames coming out, and put him right in front of him, have him bare butt naked, and he would whip it out. And the whole idea of that is if you move, you're gonna get burned. So stay right here until you move. So what happened with him, those demons from his father went to my father, and he tried to transfer them. I had to understand who my father was, understand where he came from, understand why were you so brutal to us. I got my answers, took those answers and made myself better from the answers that I had. And so that's why it was necessary to go back. I was looking for an apology, so then maybe I could just go be a loser and understand you up.
Why would the apology make you lose?
It would make me feel vindicated.
Justified.
Yes. Thank you. You did this to me. I can tell you
My failings are okay.
it's okay. Because you did this. So I was looking for that. And when I went there, I realized that this voice that was saying, it's not this voice over here, I said, this other voice started hearing it. It's loud. It started getting louder. The more I drove Buffalo, I said, get the face of God in it. You got a long journey ahead because you're going to find out that while your dad did not do to you, you're going to have to make it up. And the voice got louder and louder and louder. And by the time I got to that door, and by the time I was leaving that house, instead of me feeling sorry for myself, I started to do live autopsy. A lot of people, when you die, they figure out what you die. They figure out how you die in the autopsy. But we never do live autopsies, figure out why we're dying, why we don't die. And I was dying. I was living every day. And I was dead. And so I figured it out. And once I figured it out, I was able to reborn. I was able to be reborn. And break down situations very quickly. But then some trauma in your life, some devastation in your life, because it's going to come. The devastation, the trauma is going to come. And you can't allow that to become a Jersey bear. You can't be a Jersey bear. It has to be something you can remove very quickly. And move forward. That takes my toughness. Don't find yourself. Find yourself other than like that much mile race I was on. I ran 24 hours. I found myself. I was with a guy that doesn't talk to me. So basically, I don't take any days off as far as working out. First thing in the morning time is you have to build your confidence. And every day you're constantly gaining and losing confidence. You never stay the same. So how you build your confidence is, if you like what you see in that mirror, that's how you start your day off. If you wake up and you look fat, you're not in shape, you're not look good, which is, or you don't look good inside. So the whole big thing is get up and work out. Shed some calories. Get the adrenals going. Get the mind going. Get all that going. Every day I run. Every day I work out. What they do is they have these finish lines. And I have a saying that says, I don't stop when I'm tired, I stop when I'm done. When I was younger, I didn't have the goals. It's not really so much about goals. It's a to-do list. And as a human being, if you have a to-do list, you're going to sit back and just face that. Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. If you can't control your own brain, you got to tell your brain where you want to go, how you want to go, and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over. A good human being, a fulfilled human being, doesn't need to break anyone down. All they do is want to build you up. So anybody you meet that calls you out of your name, that bullies you, that messes you up, that makes you feel not meant to, you're dealing with something deep rooted. When you quit, your mind says we're done. So it doesn't expand. There's no expansion when you quit. When you say, this sucks, I'm drowning, I'm miserable, I'm suffering, I'm broken, but I'm not going anywhere. What happens to your mind, it says, he's not leaving. So we got to expand. We got to grow. We got to figure this thing out. So then these compartments in your brain, they have to work. And then you start to engage parts of your mind that you never engaged before. When you're in suffer mode and you say, I'm not going to quit. You're forcing your brain now to operate on a level it's not used to. But then it becomes used to. The only way anything gets accomplished, you gotta work hard. I can't remember what's in this paragraph to pass this test to get in the military. Read it again. Still not getting it. Read it again. But if you're not getting it, write it out. And guess what happened? You got it. I can't swim. I'm negative buoyant. Go back again. Can't swim. Go back again. Go back again. Go back again. I got it. I realize if I keep going back and going back and going back, your mind will say, okay, we're gonna figure it out, because he is not going to stop. I always equated working out to struggle. I struggled my whole life, but I ran from it. So I started realizing that I gotta start facing the struggle, and I gotta be mentally strong for the struggle. I'm training for life. Mentally, I'm training for life. I'm not training for to lift 400 pounds. And I found out on my own pretty much, is that through discipline, through self-discipline, through repetition, through tons of repetition, the same thing that you don't want to do, you develop mental armor for your mind. Start to armor your mind. Your mind's like, okay, we suffer every day. We do stuff that sucks every day. So then when the suck stuff comes, you're ready for it. I had two options. To either be that 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, or I can totally just fail until I succeed. So I started calling recruiters up. I said, I'm gonna go beat the Navy SEAL. There's a weight and height limit to get in the military. And I was 6'1" and 297. He saw me, put me through the weight standard, all this other stuff, and to get into the class I had to get into, I had to lose 106 pounds in less than 3 months. I was like, I can't do that. I grabbed my chocolate milkshake and went back to Ecolab. And I said, this ain't gonna be it for me. There's a lot of quiet time. I shut out a lot of noise. I only have people in my life that need me. You don't need me in my life. I'm not about acquiring friends. It's not about noise. I'm about, okay, are you trying to go somewhere? You can jump on board. If not, I don't want to hear all your problems. You have to give a solution. That's what I'm all about. So I'm not about whining and complaining. I'm about, okay, you go this way. I'm thinking visualization and also self-talk. But also where do I see myself? And then I start making these plans and how I'm doing it. And I don't deviate from that. Because I realized once I was talking to myself the right way, and all this wasn't in my mind, wow, I went from this people talking to me, wow, not successful, insecure, who stuttered when I first saw somebody, to a person who can now do all these things just because I now control my whole mind. And I don't care. A lot of people say, when you get to the point, I'm not saying you don't care like I don't care like that. No, you don't care about other people and how they view you, about how you walk, how you talk, how you dress, where you want to go with your life. You know, growing up, I didn't want to tell anybody I wanted to be doing. Why? Some of my black friends, I was afraid that they did. You know? Why was I was afraid of what other people thought about me. So now, not going to the military, I know you were going to the military. Yeah, I can tell you, I'm afraid what you thought. But again, man, you allow other people to shackle your mind. It's the worst thing in the world. What's funny about what I often say, on the other side of the extreme place that I call suffering, there's a whole other world that people have not even examined. And you have to go to that extreme place to examine it. You want to stay here in this comfortable place. Once you're going to push yourself to that extreme place, it's like a whole other universe. It's almost like you're an astronaut to examine something up in outer space. You know, it's always been there. But you have to be going through all the buck, examining, you're like, my God, all this happening. Whole other universe up here behind. Another universe. I'm training my mind and my body and my spirit so it's all one, so I can handle what life is going to throw at me. Because the life I've lived, it throws a whole bunch at you. And if you're not physically and mentally prepared for that, you're just going to crumble. And you're good for nobody. In times of suffering, what we do is we forget how hard we really are. And that's what suffering is. Suffering is a test. That's all it is. Suffering is the true test of life. It is now where I'm at today. And that is, when you finally get to that point for me, it's forever lasting peace. greatness isn't running 200 miles at a time and doing 4,000 pull-ups to be able to see it. Greatness is whatever the hell you dreamed of in your own mind. You gotta first see it. You gotta first create this vision in your mind. And then that's when I come into play. Once you create this vision in your mind, it's how am I gonna get there? We are all great. No matter if you think you're dumb, no matter if you think you're fat, no matter if you are fat, no matter if you've been bullied, or no matter if you just got back from Iraq or Afghanistan and you have no legs or your arms or whatever, man. We all have greatness. It just, you gotta find the courage. You gotta find the courage to put your Bose headphones on and silence the noise out of this world and to find it. That sets you apart from everybody else. And that's what it's all about. But what motivated me? This kid came from that. I'm in the hardest training in the world, in the worst shape of my entire life. What if I can graduate amongst these studs? All these guys around me, stallions, gladiators, it's all healthy. They're not broken like this. If I can start the hardest training in the world and graduate, you are now, from the weakest man, you are now the hardest man to ever live. If you can do this, only those people who have been there a million times in their minds and have lived in that water and have suffered a million times and realized my legs may break, my knee may break, my bones will hurt. I will be the coldest I've been in my life. I will be miserable and accept that. Because what happens is 3 months later, my stress fractures, my running, when the mind and the body connect, and you don't give yourself the way out. The only way out for me at that time, I'm going to be a Navy SEAL, or I'm going to die trying, period. And my body said, Roger that. We're going to get you through it. The only way out for me at that time, if I die, everything I do, I'm not really comfortable. But if you're choosing to do something, you have 2 routes. You can go there and be a little weak person and get through barely, and that's your reputation. Or you can go through the hardest guy you can possibly be, that's your reputation. If you're choosing to do something, attack it. Because they're gonna remember you as not attacking it. So I want to be remembered. You can hate me, but there's one thing you can't say about me. I didn't attack it. We all have 2 people. We all have 2 people. I'm not saying you're crazy. You have the easy voice, which is that 20% telling yourself that I'm easy at 90% of my full potential, maybe 100% at that 20%. That's that voice that we all love. That's that very comfortable voice. That's that mind holding you saying it's going to be okay. Doesn't care how good you are, just loves you. Just loves you no matter how messed up you are in life. That's where you want to be at. So that's that one voice. This other voice that we walk very far away from is a voice saying, hey man, you ain't good. So we try to get this voice out of our head. And we live over here in this room. So what you have to do first is turn up this voice over here. So I came up with this thing called the 40% rule. It's like a car. You put a governor on a car. They said the car to go 130. That governor stops the car at 91. And you're driving, you're thinking, man, I want to floor it, but I can't go any faster. We do that to our brain. We put a governor on our brain, something for pain, discomfort, suffering, all those words that we hate to say because we have this happy, peaceful world we live in now. We stop. We slow down. And if you can get through these different barriers and gain 5%, 2%, 3%, that 40% becomes 60. And 60% becomes 70, 80, and 90. And then you'll hopefully one day near 100. I don't know if people probably at 100. We think we're there, but there's so much more. We all like to take this 4-lane highway, the easy highway. It has signs, it has restaurants. We all love that 4-lane highway. We always step over the shovel. And all I did was I picked up that shovel, and that shovel, I made my own path. And you may have big boulders and They may be getting 200 miles up the road faster than you. But going through this path of life, this journey over here, that you make yourself, that's incredibly difficult. When it comes out the other end of that motherfucker, there's some glorious shit that you can't even explain to people.
You have to create the real reality. So that's what I call my accountability area in my book. That's the real reality. Where the f am I going to start from? So for me, I was lying to this, lying about that. So I had no starting point. Once you come face to face with who you are, you're going to start, all right, I'm not real smart. I have no courage. I have no self-esteem. I have no nothing. Nothing. That's my starting point. Now we can move from there. But if I tell myself I'm strong, I have courage, I'm smart, and all these are lies, you continuously push that starting point backwards. So that starting point is the truth. The most truth that only you can tell yourself. It gives you a lot of power when you're able to go on a podcast this big and say, hey, tell me, I'll tell you anything you want to know. I no longer care. It's a lot of power in that, to be able to put your life on a billboard for the whole world to see and say, judge it, man. Judge it. Like this, we talking about it, makes me feel good. Yes, and that's another thing about it. When you're willing to talk about how jacked up you are, the strength, that big rock that you carry, it just starts to come off. It just starts to come off. That's why I do it so often. Like, hey man, I'll tell you anything you want to know. I'm tired of being afraid. I'm tired of not telling you. I'm tired of lying about how good I'm not. I learned how to control my adrenals. If you know how you get that fight or flight response, and you get to move real quick. Yeah.
And I started learning to mind a lot how to get myself jacked extremely fast, like in a horrible environment where everybody's miserable. I learned how to really find strength in the misery. When everybody's suffering, everybody's all poopy pants, and the mentality's down, and everything. I started just like, my God, this is where I shine. And I started using all that misery for tons of drive and motivation to then lead people further. Because you can get a lot of power through misery. And once people see that, my God, God can go. And everybody says, watch that. Let me get my shit go too. Yeah, I started realizing that if you can just find strength just a little bit longer, you will have a crew of people following you along the way. The second you look at your phone, the second you turn the TV on, you're in a battle. I want to win the war in the morning. When you do something you don't want to do every morning, you're already giving yourself the proper self-talk to attack the people that don't like you, to attack your insecurities, to attack what the world's going to give you. I once had that mentality that no one understands. And if you keep that mentality, you're going to stay in the same exact spot that you're in. Everybody's going through. So when people get this mentality of like, you understand me, you can throw a rock to someone that can understand you if you're willing to break themselves down and stop hiding. A lot of people understand, but you got to stop hiding. And this guy was in my mind. We suffer every day. That's what we do. We do stuff that sucks every day. So then when the suck stuff comes, you're ready for it. And that's how I started coming up. I just started being very uncomfortable. Now it's like just a way of life. What I realized is for me to become the man I wanted to become, I saw myself as the weakest person God ever created. But I never blamed God for anything he did to me. So I wanted to change that to be the hardest man ever created. Am I that? I don't know, but you had to have a goal. I want to be forever proud of who I was as a man and change who I used to be. The liar, the insecure guy. I want to be proud. If I die now, I want to look at myself and say, proud of myself. It's okay to be unhappy sometimes, man. It's okay to say, you know what, man, I'm up. So you got to go to the truth first. Who are you? Get really accountable. And say, okay, who am I? What's the truth about me? Get to that dark place in your mind. Figure out. It may take months. It may take years. Figure out your purpose. Figure out what you want to be in life. I'm trying to find more of myself. And the only way I can find more is to silence the world out as much as I can, because it's getting busier every day. It's getting faster. And the faster it gets, the more you are missing who the fuck you are. You have to go dark. You have to be quiet in your mind. You
get away from people. We love being around people. We love talking. We love parties. We love all that. It's okay to be alone. It's also okay to be unhappy. It's okay to be unhappy sometimes, man. It's okay to say, you know what, man, I'm up. So you gotta go to the truth first. Who are you? You get really accountable. And say, okay, who am I? What's the truth about me?
But you have to go into those dark chambers that we often shut off, and you gotta open them up. You gotta open up and fight that fucking demon. Get in there, talk to that mother, say what's up.
Get to that dark place in your mind. Figure out. It may take months, it may take years. Figure out your purpose. Figure out what you want to be in life. And then from there, okay, I have my purpose.
It's easier to accept the fact that I'm just not good enough. I wasn't made to do that. And yeah, some of us can't be LeBron and James. But I'll tell you right now, man, we can do a lot when it comes to this pure arm guts and willpower and getting through shit. We have a lot more with a lot more than we think we have. You got that person who says, hey, you know, man, I don't feel good today, man. And they say, oh, it's okay, brother. Take a day off, man. We'll get a pizza and watch the game. We like that. Boy, my whole life. That's what my friends hate me. Because I'm hard on me. I'm hard on me. Every morning starts with me. And that's because that's the one thing I hate to do more than anything. So that's like my cup of coffee. And I'm all about armoring yourself. So the second you leave your house, and the second you open your phone, the second you do any of that shit, you are now letting in poison and cancer. So I make sure a lot of things you can't avoid. So as I get up, I start to armor plate my mind and body. And discipline's good too. But without a clear headspace, there's no discipline. So let's say we have a circuit board, okay? And I'm loading everything up to run the circuit. Just loading it up. It's gonna blow. And once that thing blows, man, the circuit's all fucked up. You gotta have each thing plugged into the right spot, like a crowded garage. You can't put anything in it. Once your brain is crowded, discipline is great, motivation is great. But if you can't fit in your brain because it's all cluttered with shit, there's no discipline. You may have it sometimes when it fits in that crowded garage of your mind, but you don't have the consistency that you need to have with your discipline. And people don't get that. Your mind has to always be clear. That's why I meditate 2 hours every single night. Because I refresh, I reorganize the garage, which is my mind, every night. So then discipline's in there, organization, everything is what's right spot. So when I wake up in the morning. So we live in a world that we want to be as comfortable as we can. And we wonder why we have no growth. We wonder why when the smallest thing in our life gets difficult, we wonder why we cower and we run away. Because our whole life is set up in the path of least resistance. There's no room in that mind for discipline. There's no room for consistency. They may do it once or twice, but then the mind takes over, the garage comes in, and then it's like a circuit breaker, man. A circuit breaker just overloads and sparks. And our minds, that's our mind, man. It's like a circuit breaker. There's so much good in it, you keep on loading it, you can't put any more into it. I talk about it in there, man, so much about clearing space in your mind so that you have room for all those disciplines. Making up those, taking those, they do mean something. But we don't get to that dark matter that is keeping you from clearing out that mental garage. People with a talent problem who are so talented, they're hard to train. They're hard to push. If you're their coach and you're trying to get them to see that we got to get you past this talent problem, we got to get to the point where you're into that mental zone. And we got to get you way past your talent. And it's hard for coaches to take these fighters or whoever past your talent. And on the other side of that is where they gain true levels. The levels beyond talent, that's where it really is. Because if you're able to take a motherfucker down to the deep end, About motherfuckers just putting a toe in, feeling the water and shit. If a motherfucker in the deep end, he'll take you down there. He's mentally strong. It's over. It's over, man. Because they live in the deep end. They live in it, man. They thrive in it.
When you quit, your mind does this. When you quit, your mind says, we're done. So it doesn't expand. There's no expansion when you quit. When you say, F you, this sucks, I'm drowning, I'm miserable, I'm suffering, I'm broken, but I'm not going anywhere. What happens to your mind is it does this. It says, he's not leaving. So we gotta expand. We gotta grow. We gotta figure this fucking thing out. And then you start to engage parts of your mind that you never engaged before. You're forcing your brain now to operate on a level it's not used to. But then it becomes used to.
And there's no more challenge. What happens to you? Most people quit. Why am I always messing up right here? It's because you're performing to your temper. And then after that, your mind has nothing for you.
I said to myself, who on this fucking earth would still be going right now? You are. You gotta be the hardest on the planet. Is it true? I don't give a fuck. At that time, it got me to the finish line of that race. I believed it. I believe it today.
I put my phone away, I put it away, and I go dark. I go dark a lot, and it's because I have to find out. I'm on a journey of life, and we all have a different journey. And I want to be in my divine box, and I believe your spirit lives forever. It has to. It's too powerful. No way in hell that thing just dies when we die. I want to be able to look back on my life when I'm all dead and be so fucking proud of myself forever. This is all temporary to me. And break down situations very quickly within some trauma in your life, some devastation in your life. Because it's going to come. The devastation, the trauma is going to come. And you can't allow that to become a Jersey bear. You can't be a Jersey bear. It has to be something you can maneuver through very quickly. And move forward. That takes a lot of toughness. We count on people too much to get us through shit. Build that total accountability in oneself, and not about being selfish. I'm trying to create a better me, so hopefully people who are hearing this are taking it the right way, can say, I can run a mile. It ain't about running 205 miles. It doesn't matter. I want you to see how far you can go. The biggest trophy I own now is that book. The biggest trophy I own now is not the book itself, it's what's in the book. It's what, like, I don't give a fuck if that sells one copy. Honest to God, man. Like what I did, and that's what I hope people understand. Your life and the journey you put yourself through, there's nothing more than that. And that's all I want people to do, is realize that you have to struggle. You have to struggle. The bigger the struggle, the bigger the peace. The bigger the suffering, the more peace. So a lot of this isn't your fault why you do some things you do, why you feel the way you feel. But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where you started, wherever that place is for everybody. And have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you. And that's why I was like, hey, I'm f***ed up. I'm gonna go back and fix this. And I know how to self-motivate. A lot of them don't know how to self-motivate, man. Like, we like to put the headphones on, like to play a big game and listen to the music. When the headphones come off, it's you in your own mind.
Right.
I know how to do that. That's the hard part, man.
Do you ever listen to music when you run?
Never.
I wanted you to go home at night after you completed your step, and I smiled in your face. I wanted you to feel worse than I did. You would go home to a nice warm bed, and I was still out there in the grit, suffering for the 100 hours. I wanted you to think about it, knowing I'm comfortable, being very uncomfortable. And I want you to think about what you went through, how uncomfortable you were, how bad you wanted to quit, knowing I'm not thinking it. So the dark side is something that I designed. It's an evil place I can go that very few things can hurt me. And your brain is the most powerful weapon. I talk about that in one chapter. Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. Once you put away your phones, your computers, all that you have nowadays, that's great. We're up to date, but your brain is the only thing you have. You're going through depression, when you're going through hard times, you're going through death, real But there's 24 hours in the day when you're alone in this brain. And your brain is talking to you in all kind of ways. And it wants to control you, pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain, and your brain controls you, you gotta tell your brain where you wanna go, how you wanna go, how you wanna go. You gotta control it. It's not trying to find more of yourself. And the only way to find more is to silence the world out. It's getting easier. Get back. The faster it gets, the more you are missing. So I trap my own mind. I say, I put my phone away, I put it away, I go dark. I go dark a lot, because I have to find out. I'm on a journey of life. And we all have to be. I want to really find strength in the misery. And everybody's suffering, everybody's all poopy pants, and the power's down, and everything. I started saying, my God, this is where I shine. I'm insecure here. This isn't the real me. I lied to you about that. I wanted your acceptance in life. All those things happen, but the thing about it is that we get judged so quickly about who we are. We don't know. We don't go to where it happened. Life created this person, me. And I had to realize, man, that's okay, man. It's not my fault. Now you go back and fix it. So a lot of this isn't your fault. Why you do some things you do, why you feel the way you feel. But no one's coming back to save your ass. You have to go back to where it started, wherever that place is for everybody. And have the courage to go back there and start fixing what broke you. We have the ability to go in such a space. If you're going to suffer, and I mean suffer, your brain and your body, once connected together, can do anything. And this 30 miles was the life-changing moment. I was out of it. I was in the worst pain in my entire life. I was, to me, on the brink of death. And I was able to chunk this 30 damn miles into small pieces. I was so driven. Now, I'm not gonna say motivated, because motivation's crap. Motivation comes and goes. When you're driven, whatever's in front of you will get destroyed. I sat in this chair and I was so driven to succeed in this race. This became a personal thing. This became me against this race, me against me. It just became something that I took so violently personally. And I broke this thing down into small pieces. I said, okay, I gotta get nutrition. I gotta be able to stand up. So I went through all these small steps and I was able to stand up. And then from standing up, I was literally walking around with my wife at the time. And she goes, you're not gonna make the time. I got to mile 81. And the second she said that, I'm not gonna make the time, I ran the last 19 miles, non-stop. And people may listen to this and say, this guy is sadistic, he's crazy, No, if you know how I came up, you realize I was just a scared kid that found drive and passion and something much better than what he thought. I have to become someone in this world, or I'm no good for anybody. It comes from a disgusting place of not being fulfilled in your life, of afraid of dying, having never accomplished anything. That's a fear that some people run away from, that people don't want to face. When you have a real fear of dying and being just another person, that I live to pay the bills, I made $1,000 a month. This is my life. I sprayed for cockroaches, man. If that makes you feel good, that's great. It didn't make me feel good. I wanted to, the first time in my life, after 26 years, or 24, 25, whatever it was, I wanted to feel good about myself. Greatness is never, you dream of it. You gotta first see it. You gotta first create this vision in your mind. Once you create this vision in your mind, it's not. But you've got to go inside yourself and find it. That means you gotta be quiet. Shut the up, go in a room, stop talking, search your soul, search your mind, search your abilities, and you'll find it. But if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. You gotta go start your journey. And the journey starts with finding why the hell am I here? Why am I here? And if you don't know that, you live the rest of your life searching, always asking the question. Everything I didn't want to do is what got me to where I'm at today. It's about what you're saying to yourself, but it also comes with work. So whenever I was getting beat down, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever I was going through, just saying, you can't hurt me. I had this haunting voice in the back of my head. A lot of us have. It's annoying. And it was there for years. So I knew in the back of my mind that I could pull off this whatever.